Replacing the old with the new. Now this one has a bad fan, so it's getting replaced under warranty. So I gotta move all the stuff out of it, move it into that one, then reprogram the new one. Look at the dirt that accumulates on these things after 5.5 years. I already blew this one off. This one's the fiber module, this one's the Ethernet. Oh, time to blow this off and install it in a new chassis. Alright, she's back in the rack. Just time to plug everything in, screw it in, plug it in, and start the programming and updating. Okay, I felt the need to kind of re-explain all this because I didn't like the way it came out on the video. The thing is, like I said in the video, which you didn't hear, I had my laptop sitting just a few feet from the switch. I had it hooked up via a USB serial cable. You can see I got kind of a little mess going here, but it works. So I could have a console session on the laptop using PuTTY, which is a well-known program for it. Hyperterminal was used years ago. However, that kind of sort of doesn't come on Windows 7, so PuTTY is a really good alternative, and it offers some other options as well. I had a TFTP server program open, and I also had the actual configuration file open. Now, the idea here is to upload the configuration file into the switch. However, if the two versions of firmware off the old one and off the new one do not match, they won't jive, and it'll just kick out the switch programming, and you might get half of it in. So the easiest way I know to make sure it'll take that is to before downloading and saving the configuration off the old switch, is to update it to the newest firmware, save the config file, then update the new one to the latest firmware, and then upload the config file. However, one minor kink in this that you do need to know is there are a couple steps along the way. The new unit had 10.37 version of firmware. The newest version that the old one was running, because I had just updated it a couple days before in preparation for this, was 11.21. However, you have to go, as an intermediate, you have to do a update to 10.74, then you can go to 11.21. So I'd already done that on the old one, the old dusty one that I did clean the cards and the power supply off before I put them in the new refurbished unit. I'm guessing anyway HP sends refurbed units. At least that would make sense. And I configured just enough information to give it an IP address. Then I upload via TFTP the intermediate, the 10.74 version of the firmware, and then reboot the switch. You gotta do about 3 reboots in this whole process. Then once that came back up, then I could install the 11.21 firmware, reboot the switch, and then I could update the config file, or did I say upload the configuration file? I'm sorry. Reboot the switch. And then put the password back in, because that is not included in the config file. Test it. And you'll see a lot, and I'm going to show these steps throughout the rest of the video. I just wanted to give a good, I guess monologue is the word, on what was going on, because I didn't like the way it came out in this one part of the video. Now, like I said, I've done this several times. I learned about the firmware. If they're not the same, the config doesn't jive. I learned that the hard way a couple of years ago. So I've kind of got this down to an art. I just had to do this about a month ago on another one of these 5300s. Like I said in the video, they're 5.5 years old, so things are going to slowly start failing on them. But the nice thing is, anything with a gray front that's Hewlett Packard ProCurve has a lifetime warranty. It was Wednesday when I discovered that this unit in the video had a bad fan, and it's got a big old orange light on the front that lights up with any kind of fault. And they had the unit to us on Thursday, and then today's Friday when I actually did the swap out. So I will, and it's an advanced replacement too, as you kind of probably already figured out. So the old one's already in the box, getting ready to get shipped via UPS back to HP. So they're great to deal with on stuff like this. However, I think I've got everything I need to say said in this little video that I'm kind of making while editing it. So, in fact, you can kind of... Nah, I won't show you. That'll take up too much time. But, anyway, that's kind of what's going on. So, I hope I'm happy with this. Okay, we've done the intermediate flash update. Now for the one that'll bring us up to 1121, the current version. Oh, I'm a dork. Hold on. Alright, now let's try it. Yes. You can see TFTP is doing its thing. This will take a while, so I'm going to just stop the camera. Now that the upload is done, we need to reboot the switch with a very complicated command. Boot. Yes. Yes. Well, let's see if this will work without blue screening the laptop. So, let's see what happens. And we are now online. Configuration is complete. I've reset the password, which does not transfer with the configuration. So we are good and ready to rock and roll.